Listen, this is a one for anyone who has never done Klarna. Listen, if you've not done Klarna, stay the out of it. Because listen, when I tell you Klarna is not your best friend, it really is buy now and pay the consequences later.
Cheer up, you old sod. We're only talking about debt. Let's cover some stuff today. I'm going to have a quick look, see how bad it is out there, see what we can do to avoid it. Let's have a quick look.
Let's talk money. I'm 30 years old and I am in debt. I feel really vulnerable saying that, but the first step is getting over that shame. And if I can help at least one person in a similar position feel like they're not as alone in this, then it is all worth it. I have always had a bad relationship with money. I live paycheck to paycheck, spending compulsively, buying things that bring me joy in the moment, but not in the long run. I made the mistake of taking out credit cards, using store credit, Klarna, ClearPay, you name it, I've used it. I've always had this view that I need to spend money in order to enjoy myself and have a good life. But the reality is that it's all a temporary fix, and that instant gratification that I feel won't make me happy in the long run. With big life events coming up, such as my wedding next year, I can no longer ignore it, so join me on my journey to being debt-free.
Yeah, that's pretty important here, to be honest. You know, what she said is a lot of things. We aren't told how to spend our money wisely. When you grow up in school, you go to university, whatever it is you do, this is the clear thing that you're not told about. How to actually spend your money, how to actually save. You know, they should... I mean, I guess even if you do have how to spend money properly courses, you know, kids aren't going to listen. I probably wouldn't listen to something like that, and it'd probably be taught by somebody who is also bad with their money. So I also get it to an extent, but this is such a important life skill to have, being financially savvy, and it's one that's not taught to us at all, to be honest with you. So I understand a lot of people going into debt, credit card, Klarna, using these things, but it's really about educating yourself, going through content like this, understanding your own finances, going through it. You know, they always say, you know, once you manage something, once you keep an eye on it, it won't go out of control, and that's really important here. And you know, kudos for her for explaining it and trying to get through it as well, and trying to get back to her base.
Hi, my name's Jess and I'm in debt. It's payday today, so let's budget my salary. It's my birthday in a week, so let's see if I'll have any money left over to actually enjoy it. I got paid £1,896 after taxes and pension. £300 goes on rent, household bills come to £415, and a whopping £777.89 goes to paying off my 6 loans and Klarna payments. Additional bills and subscriptions come to £70.96 and £50 towards my last therapy session, and believe me, your girl needs it. So after all that, I'm left with £281.21. Looks like I'll be spending my 31st doing a whole lot of nothing. Just kidding. Follow to see what I get up to. Okay, thanks, bye!
Yeah, just kidding. You've still got nearly £300 to spend as you please, according to yourself. I mean, I had a little bit of a closer look at this person's account, and a lot of it does seem like, you know, it was added up to due to frivolous spending from what they said, you know, which is totally fine. You have to own up to it and admit and get on with it. But, you know, you can see here how much, you know, we're talking nearly half of her income is going towards just bills. And, you know, luckily, I don't know what her living situation is, whether she's living at home with mum or dad, or I don't think you can rent a place for that cheap. But, you know, or if she's room sharing it, but you know, you can see that she's trying to manage her finances and she's trying to pull herself out of debt. And to be honest, the greatest thing is, once you are finally out of that debt, once you've paid those loans off, she's got nearly £800 that she can spend as she wants on whatever she wants, and that's the greatest thing. So I think, you know, the life lesson is, stuff happens, you do get in debt, but it's how you get out of it and how you move forward, which is always the best way. So, you know, this is a good example of breaking it down, trying to deal with it as fast and efficiently as you can, and paying it down and moving on with your life.
3 hours, yeah. Nearly 3 fucking hours. I was on the phone to a company to try help me with my debt and paying all my debt off, like consolidate, whatever it's called, like pay it off as one. 3 hours, yeah, nearly 3 hours. Is it sorted? No, it's not sorted. All my letters and my bills are on my bed. They cover the whole bed, so I've got to put all them away tomorrow, today, tonight. Tomorrow I've got to get in touch with more people to find out how much more debt I've got, because I'm in fucking millions of debt, like millions. And I just want to pay it off. I just need it gone. Like the stress I'm under just because I know that I've got so much debt. No wonder I've got spots, do you know what I mean? Oh God, it's really hard being an adult. I'm fully never going to be able to buy a house. Me and Reese are never going to. He's a fucking convicted criminal. I'm up to my eyeballs in debt. We are not going to be able to buy a house between us. No shit. I need to pay it off. Brando's 3 hours I were on the phone. Do you know how stressful? Do you know how stressed I am? Worst thing is, the fucking customer advisor, whatever it's called, the fucking person that answered the phone knew who I was. They knew who I was from TikTok, so now she knows all the debt I'm in. Well, like fucking 5% of the debt I'm in, but that's still a lot of debt. No. Like, just give me money, please.
I don't really know what to say about this one, to be honest. It sounds a little bit ungrateful how she's coming across. I understand that, you know, when you're spending and you don't really keep up to date with it, it can kind of spiral and get out of control. But her tone a little bit to me sounds ungrateful, the way she's going about things. Debt is very stressful. Trying to organise and figure out how much you've got on you is very stressful. If you don't keep up to date with things like ClearScore and Experian and Equifax, you know, you're not able to understand how much debt you're in, what credit cards you've got, Klarna, etc., etc. But to me, it sounds like this is the result of irresponsibility. You're the maker of your own destiny at the end of the day, and this seems like a big part of it. You have to take responsibility for your own stuff. And yeah, you know, it's not millions and millions of pounds. You're exaggerating the situation. And I think a lot of people bury their head in the sand. It's difficult to look at how much there is, but you have to do it and you have to crack on with it. Yeah, I would recommend don't be like this. Don't bury your head in the sand.
There are many issues on council tax I've been campaigning on, some of them for as long as 20 years, banging my head against a brick wall. I remember meeting Eric Pickles when he was in charge of the department to talk about all of these. Today, in about an hour, the government will formally launch a consultation to many of these administration issues on council tax. Not the big picture council tax, the small issues. But while they're small, they have massive importance. And at the top of the list is council tax debt collection, which is so rapid and aggressive, it would make banks blush. There is no commercial company who can do what the banks do. You heard me say it there. You miss a payment because you can't afford it. 3 weeks later, they say, we don't want the month anymore, we want the year. 3 weeks after that, they can send bailiffs in, and they do. And those bailiffs have got charges on top of the charges. So in this consultation today, I am delighted to say, and I'm very grateful for the government to listening, because this affects over 3 million people. You know, people who go to debt counselling agencies like Citizens Advice, they're dealing with 10,000 council tax debt complaints a week. It has to be prioritised above everything else because it is so aggressive. In the consultation, they're looking at slowing it down so it can't be done as quickly, adding in that councils need to be considerate towards people, capping the extra costs that are added on top where they're disproportionate, and pointing people, just like commercial lenders have to do, towards help with their finances, which actually means they might be able to pay. Because the problem with all this, it's counterproductive. Pushing someone to pay for a year when they can't pay for a month, they don't have the money. The money doesn't come in. All it does is destroy lives. So that is the start of the things that is in this consultation. And I say it's a consultation, I mean that. The government wants feedback from the general public. That isn't out. The link isn't out yet because this doesn't happen until 9:30 today. But I'll be putting it on my social media feeds later, what link you can feed in. If you've had problems and you want to see change, please tell the government as well.
This is brilliant from Martin Lewis. Honestly, kudos out to him. This is a big problem that's affecting a lot of people. Like he said, 3 million in the UK. I mean, this is a huge council tax issue where they can start debt collection immediately. No banks, no commercial companies, nothing in the UK can act as fast and as viciously as council tax debt collection. This is, you know, absolutely insane. There was a mix-up with my home recently when we were renovating our house and moving in. Not only did they try charge us empty premium home tax for allegedly owning 2 homes, which on multiple occasions I told them we don't own 2 homes, we're moving from one to the other, you know, so they tried to add a premium on top of that. Then, like I said, once all that was trying to get figured out, they just didn't put it into perspective, didn't try to figure out what's going on. Boom, you need to pay us £1,000 pounds in council tax immediately. You know, luckily we were able to have some savings aside and just get it sorted and out of the way, but they said that very quickly it would go down the route of you would have to go to court, deal with all of it, do all that. You know, for us, we were lucky we had some savings and we could just get it done, but for a lot of people that isn't the situation where you can just pay it off straight away. They will chase you down, they will make life an absolute misery, and it's just crazy to think about that the council tax, you know, they can do things that supersede banks and commercial companies and all the rest of it. You know, so this is a great change forward, and it affects you, unfortunately, in a really bad way. But that's all for me really today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll catch you next time.